welcome to another edition of the Reporters Roundtable. You will remember that last week Ghana went to the polls to deepen our democratic credentials. In a minute, I would want you to have a feel of what happened when President John Mahama conceded the defeat and the reaction from President-elect Nana Dankwa Akufo Addo, and finally, when the Electoral Commission announced the results. Just watch this.
The wait is now over, and we're ready to tell you who your next president is. For the presidential elections, the total votes cast was 10,781,609. Out of those, we had rejected ballots of 166,248, which is 1.54%. We had total valid votes of 10,615,361. Our turnout was 68.62%. Now, for the candidates, Mr. Ivor Kobina Greenstreet of the CPP had 25,395 votes, being 0.24%. Mrs. Nana Konadu Ajiman Rawlings of the NDP had 16,878 votes, being 0.16%. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC had 4,713,277 votes, being 44.40%. Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum of the PPP had 105,682 votes, being 1%. Mr. Nana Akufo Addo of the New Patriotic Party had 5,716,026 votes, being 53.85%. Mr. Edward Mahama of the PNC had 22,214 votes, being 0.21%. And Mr. Jacob Osei-Yeboah, an independent candidate, had 15,889 votes, being 0.15%. On the basis of the foregoing figures, and by the power vested in me as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the returning officer for the presidential election, it is my duty and my privilege to declare Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo as a president-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
It has been without a doubt one of the most tremendous privileges of my life to serve this great nation as president and to work on behalf of all Ghanaians. I will leave it to history to be the judge of my time and contributions while in that highest office. I leave it to history to be the judge of my time and contributions while in that highest office. To all the people who cheered us on, who gathered at rallies to show their support, and who queued in long lines to vote for me, I know that this is not the outcome that we wanted and we had hoped for. But I say to you that this day should not mark the defeat of your role in this nation's political process. We must do our part to ensure that the progress of all our past governments, from the very first one led by our nation's founder, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to this most recent one that I have led, continues, because progress does not happen all at once. It takes time and dedication. In the words of Dr. Nkrumah, forward ever, backwards never. At this point, let me commend the Electoral Commission for living up to its constitutional duty in successfully conducting the 2016 elections. My thanks also goes to the media and all stakeholders for their role in these elections. Once again, allow me to offer my sincere congratulations to the President-elect Nana Akufo Addo. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama called me on the phone to congratulate me on my victory in the presidential election of 7th December 2016. He wished me the best of luck and God's blessings, and assured me of his full cooperation in organizing the transition from his administration to mine. You have not elected me to serve one party, but to serve the entire nation. The President of Ghana is president for every single Ghanaian, without discrimination, malice, or ill will to any ethnic group or political or religious affiliation. Whether you supported me or not, whether you campaigned for me or not, whether you voted for me or not, I can promise you one thing. I will do my best to serve your interests and put our country back on the path of progress and prosperity. God did not put us on this rich land, a land blessed with an abundance of human and natural resources, to be poor. I am confident and I have faith that with God's guidance and your active help and hard work, we will move our country forward.
Ghana once again on December 7 consolidated its democratic gains by going through another election. The whole world set its eyes on Ghana, looking at whether Ghana sails through as a country or break the gains made. However, all the political actions rose up to the occasion to make Ghana stand tall in the eyes of the world. The country, in the spirit of democracy, saw a changeover from the incumbent John Dramani Mahama to the opposition leader, now President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo. It was the third changeover from democratically elected president to another. While the whole world, or the whole of Africa, and for that matter, the world watched how Ghana would sail through, the leaders of all the political parties, especially the two forerunners, made it clear to respect the will of the people and demonstrably stood by their words. When tensions were high and all eyes on the Electoral Commission, the incumbent President John Dramani Mahama, as a true patriot and believer of democracy, made that important call to the MPP leader to concede, easing the tension and speculation flying around. In all these, it was the media who spent the sleepless night to cover every information and news to the ordinary Ghanaian in every hamlet, village, town, and cities across the country. The unwavering commitment by the media and its vigilance all contributed to a free and fair election, further consolidating the enviable record of Ghana in the West African sub-region and, by extension, Africa. At a time when some incumbent presidents who have lost elections are refusing to hand over. The media reported on every detail of the election, and everywhere there were problems or they were short of electoral materials, the media managed to trumpet it to the appropriate authorities for those issues to be addressed. From the opening of polls to when the first ballot was cast through to when the last ballot was cast and to the close of polls, the media brought every report to the Ghanaian populace. Reporters and the program today will host and share the sleepless nights of the reporters on December 7th throughout to December 10th, when the final results were declared. The media skillfully and dutifully brought to the public all the press conferences from the office of the Electoral Commission, the home of the incumbent President John Dramani Mahama and the home of the President-elect, then candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo. The celebration that follows after the declaration of the results was not left out. So on the program today, we will discuss how the media covered election 2016, the plus and minuses, and the reporters who made it possible to bring to the listeners and viewers that comprehensive coverage. And how do the parties that lost the election have to manage their loss, and how should the victor manage their excitement, which will come on in the second segment of this program. This is the Reporters Roundtable. I am your chief servant, Rebecca Awuah, and in the studio to do the discussion are Gloria Anderson. She is a reporter with Radio Ghana. I also have in the studio Mr. Gideon Botsoe. He is the head of the camera division here in GBC. In the studio with me is Winifred Efum, who is a broadcast journalist with GBC24, and Frank Nyonator is a broadcast journalist with Metro Television. Later on in the program, we will host other guests who will be discussing managing a win or a loss. Welcome. A quick reaction to the statements made by both candidates, relying on the fact that in Gambia now, we are hearing reports that President Yahya Jammeh says he is no longer conceding the defeat. What would you make of what happened here in Ghana?
I think that we've come a long way as a country, and with a lot at stake prior to the December 7th elections. Leaders across the world, within the country, within the sub-region, did raise certain concerns that were taken on board by all the political parties, their leadership, and they all worked along with recommendations, particularly to do with the campaigning period, election proper, and then after elections. And all these were taken on board, and I feel that they've gone a long way in bringing us to the point that we find ourselves today, where the transition teams on both sides are working together to see to the smooth transfer of power from one administration to the other. To your question of what I make of the president's speech, I think the president sounded more conciliatory. He thanked Ghanaians. We gave him the power, and we felt that the NDC had done enough, and so we felt we should give the power to another group of people to come in and then run the affairs of this country. I believe that, like he put it, that history will be the best judge of his stewardship and then the leadership that he managed to put together as a government and then as a party, who assisted him right from, not just when he became president, but right from Mills's time, late Professor Mills's time, when he was vice president, when he was trusted onto the power scene somewhere in 2012, yes, right into this year. So I feel that his speech was matured, it was measured, and his body language was also quite amenable. I should also add that it is not out of place to see the John Dramani Mahama that we know, conceding defeat, because all along the campaigning period, he had always made it a point that the will of the people must stand. We shouldn't drop any blood because any group of persons or person is seeking to become the leader of this country. And for him to have come that quick enough to concede defeat went a long way in easing the tension. Let's remember, earlier on in the day, supporters of the NDC had massed up at the official residence of the president, and within that particular day, on the Friday, to cheer him on and then to support him, that were with him and all those things. But I think being a communicator himself and a journalist at that, and somebody who understands what tension means and what communication also means, I think that he did well by coming out of the residence to diffuse the tension. And if you listen to the language of the president very carefully, he did say that whether the results are positive, these were the words he used, positive or negative, he is prepared to stand by the results. I think that morning's statement strategically positioned the NDC, strategically positioned the supporters of the NDC and their affiliate groups to position themselves that come what may, our leader has spoken. He says that we would accept the results, or if it goes our way, we would accept. If it doesn't go our way, we would still accept. I think that gesture by the president meant that he was also on the ground. He was also picking information from various places within the country, and that informed that particular statement that he made. Because it went along. If you were there at the residence, you saw the supporters who some had come there with the view that the president should not concede. I mean, pushing and saying all kinds of things. But being the person that he is and understanding what was on him, because it is the onus, I think, lied more on him than on the opposition, because his movements as a leader around that particular period could have, degenerated or could have put, but he took it in stride, made sure at every point he worked in easing the tension, and then eventually when he came out in the evening to call Nana Addo, president-elect, to concede defeat, and then in the process also addressed the nation. Taking Nana Addo's speech, for instance, you could see that Nana Addo spoke not as a party leader this time around, like he was sounding during the campaign time. This time around, Nana Addo spoke as a matured. No, I'm not saying he's not matured, but you could see that the language with which he's bringing into the office
for national unity.
Yes, because this time around he sounded more as a statesman, and the language that he used sounded more as somebody who is preparing himself for the people of this country. And he was very clear in his speech, whether you voted for him or not, he needs you to support his administration, because like earlier he's made it, he's told Ghanaians that it is a Ghana project he's about embarking on. Yeah. And so he would need everybody. Within that context, he's also expecting that there would be criticisms of government programs. There would be, but they should, he's also expecting that these criticisms will come in a constructive manner. And so between the two gentlemen, I think that kudos to them, not just to the two leaders, for their body language and for the way they've gone about what is the word? Galvanizing their supporters. Not just the supporters. You must remember that they are not just party leaders. They are also there are other structures within their political organizations. And for them to be able to bring their authority to bear on these structures within not just government, but on another side also, the structures within the NPP, for him to be able to impress upon them that, look, let's take our time, let's do things well. NDC, the same way. It's very, very, very commendable. Because let's not take it away. Within every political party, there are the moderates and there are the hawks. But for these two leaders to be able to, pull all these energies together to get us to where we are today, where the transition team is working, I think that it's marvelous, and kudos to all of us, not just as reporters, but as Ghanaians, as all the stakeholders, NGOs, think tanks, security agencies, the Electoral Commission, those who work. I mean, everybody has worked tirelessly in making sure that the country's interests stand out. So for me, I think that as compared, like you made a statement of the issue of the Gambia, I think that we are more matured in terms, because yes, our institutions are more independent, they are more assertive, even though we may have certain challenges and all those things. The Electoral Commission stood its grounds, even under pressure and other things, it stood its grounds in making sure that the right processes, the laws, because anything that the Electoral Commission probably might have been seen to be doing that was not in the law could have also gone a long way in disturbing the peace of this country. But they worked within the law under pressure from both sides, but managed to assuage all the tensions and all. So for me, I think that we've come a long way. We've done very well. Kudos to all of us.
Right. I guess Frank has said everything, and there's nothing useful to add. I don't know about you.
I will say that losing an election is not an easy task. Even when you go to school and we have this school prefect thing and you lost, right? It's not easy. So for the president to lose an election like this and to even put it behind him and go to Gambia, to even go and talk to the man over there. See, I also lost an election. I'm in your country. I'm trying to talk to you. See that kind of, I think the man has done well. Both leaders have showed maturity. Ghana has won, like GBC, our catchphrase was, Ghana has won. We've shown maturity to the world that we don't need guns, we don't need cutlasses, we need our senses. We are saying that we have change. Until our mindsets change, we don't have the change that we are saying we have. But these two leaders have stood up. Don't forget that they have people who are looking up to them. If President had come out and said, I am not accepting this, you will have people who will be on the streets saying that if President says no, then it's no. But this man accepted it. We are even saying that he is the first in history to have gone in one term. He still accepted it. He has gone out to say that I am giving the power to whoever has come. Nana Addo, I'm giving you all the support that I need. My people should also go and rally behind Nana Addo. Let's have a one Ghana, one country. And everybody is doing well. So I think we have come out very well. Ghana, we've done well. We have to pat each other at the backs. Ghana wins.
But I think that I wouldn't have said it any better than the way they did. But I think that we should applaud all 7 leaders of political parties who took part in the elections.
Sure.
Yeah.
But at the end, one person must win, and that person is Nana Akufo Addo. I think that this particular election, has been with a lot of tension, a lot of expectations, and at the end, the tie was between 2 people, these 2 main people, and you will see that it was not easy at a point. But when the verdict was announced, we have seen that the president, he accepted the defeat. He conceded before even the election, the announcement was made. So I think that they have moved our democracy one step forward. And I think that it is for all Ghana to applaud them. Yes. Like my sister was saying, losing an election is not a small thing. It's not easy, especially coming back to the people and telling them that I have lost. The incumbent, I have lost and I have accepted it. If it, like Gambia, like we are all saying, it wouldn't happen in some countries. But here in Ghana, we have pushed our democracy forward once more. And this shows that we are a black star.
There's something President
The
Mahama,
black star of Africa.
The black star of Africa.
there's something President Mahama always says. He says that a leader must exit when the applause is loudest. It means that you are no more needed. And so I wasn't surprised that even before the results were declared, he came out to say that I concede Nana Addo is the winner. It even made the work of the electoral the chairperson very easier,
much easier,
because they still had a lot of results to count, about 4 coalition centers. So having done that was something that I think that will go down in history for all of us. It's a brave act.
But how would you describe the coverage of elections so far this year? The media.
Yeah, well.
On a scale of 1 to 100.
Oh, you've done well.
Rate us.
100.
Oh, really?
there were some excesses. When I was at the Electoral Commission, you know, they were doing this 2-hourly press briefing. And after that, when you listen to some of the chi stations and what they say, I got close to one young lady where, I mean, after the briefing, she was doing her report. I just shook my head and said, did the woman say this? Or why didn't hear her saying this? Sometimes, so if you realize at a point, they started doing the chi version of what the chairperson had done, so that at least everybody would understand what she was saying. But on the whole, we all did
100 for you.
but
For the fraternity.
Yeah.
I think that as reporters and as media houses, duly recognized by the Constitution, we must appreciate the work of the media as being very crucial, not just to the work of the Electoral Commission, but to Ghanaians in general, because we were on location, not just from the polling stations where they were counted first, the ballot were counted, but we were at the coalition centers in making sure that nothing untoward happened. Like she said, the Electoral Commission also had its ears properly on the ground. I believe they were also in touch with other stakeholders who are advising them as to what strategies to deploy every minute of the way, 2-hour intervals. like she said, you see, local language broadcasting is very interesting in this country. I can probably put up, for example...
And I guess it's difficult, especially translating the Queen's language into your language. Or what do you make of it?
I think it's the manner in which, or is the audience they seek to serve. Let's look at the literacy rate within the country. That probably is also what is affecting local language broadcasting. Because if I take a rape case, for instance, and I want to report on a rape case, or maybe a lady of blah, 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 somebody attacked her and then raped her. It's a straightforward English language, straightforward. But for a local language, you know, apparently you also baby and your abroad, you also on a waka to you know, you know, the way they go around it finally before they even
come to the crux of the issue.
You understand? But this is elections. This is serious reporting that we are doing. And for some of us to hear, I was at the Electoral Commission several times, and then on location with some other colleagues from the local language stations, and sometimes the way they go about the report, if you're not very careful and you are in the house, you may be pushed out to act in a manner that is unacceptable to all of us. So I think the EC being smart and having its ears on the ground finally came to the point that, look, I think that we are not serving the media or the population very well. So they took their decision on their own that for every broadcast that they would do, for every one of them that they would do in English, there should be somebody, a deputy chair, who also came and then was also doing the Q1. At least that also went a long way in assuaging or in killing all this unnecessary tension that was coming from that angle of the report that has to do with the local language broadcasting. Because then now you have an official, a deputy chair of the AC, a commissioner to that effect, who comes and then addresses the nation in the local language everybody can understand. That is official, authentic, and then it is also legal. These are the ways in which we all contributed in making sure that what we were broadcasting, what we were sending out was accurate. And I think cooperation between party leaders, right from the political side to the governance side to experts, I think they did well in terms of cooperation between the journalists who fell on them for analysis, to do with, how do I call it, experts and other people we fell on in making sure that whatever we're churning out, whatever we were speaking to, was going to go a long way in making sure that the process would run smoothly. I think the Christian Council also did a marvelous job. International observers, I happened to run into the former Namibian president, who was also going around some of the police stations. And in the evening, when we chanced upon some of them, they were shocked. They say, is that how you count? In fact, I met one European, and the European was telling me that you count the ballot papers 1, 2, and I was like, yes. He said, you count it? I said, yes, that is transparency. We want to see. That is how far we have gone in, instituting transparency into the things that we do. That notwithstanding the fact that there might be 1 or 2 errors, that would be recorded. I didn't like some of the reports that were coming, even from mainstream media. I mean, what would be the gain if your report goes a long way in heightening the tension? And so some of the things, some of the media houses were quick enough to either talk to party people, talk to government people or party leaders to seek clarifications. All these were smart ways in making sure that we broadcasted the elections properly, we got the numbers properly, because the elections are about numbers. And so these were very important things that, and I like the collaboration between the media houses in particular, because some had to come together in pulling resources together to collaborate in making sure that coverage, and I think this is about the best election that we've ever covered, as kudos to all the media houses. And I think If she says 100, I think I
You agree with the 100?
I agree.
Do you also agree with the 100?
For 100. But I also believe that at a point the public was relying more on the media for information because the media we were projecting the results as and when it came. EC was not forthcoming.
But social media, there were people who are not trained journalists, but you could see that they were ahead of traditional. I don't know about you, but
the media were projecting the results as and when it came in because we were relying on EC and EC was not forthcoming this time. So you tune into your TV set and the media has projected Nanado this, John Dramani this. So you are like, okay, this one has this percentage, this one has. So that's what we were doing. The media helped the public at a point. Not to say that they called the election, but they gave a fair.
They called anyway. They did
no,
call.
but no media house came out to say that John Dramani Mahama or Nana Akufo Addo is the winner. But they did projections.
They did. Yes.
Well, I have not heard.
There's one thing
They didn't declare, but they called the election. You can call an election.
I mean, seriously, let's get serious here. Look, the media houses would always do that part of the responsibility of the electoral process. The media holds that responsibility so dear to their heart, even more than the political parties. In terms of, we do not call somebody just president or we declare. No, we don't declare. There's a difference between declaring and calling. These are projections we are making. And we are able to make these projections so quick because
based on some empirical
not
facts.
Just trends, just trends.
But
we have reporters scattered all over. So it should be easier for me to say, maybe I'm at the coalition center. By the time you would fax that thing, that pink sheet, whatever it is, to the Electoral Commission for party representatives at the EC to go through in making sure whatever it is, I am already having a live transmitter on the ground. I'm already broadcasting that, look, this is what they've signed. And these are the numbers. You understand? But we've been taught enough. I think in these elections, that's what I'm saying, we've done so well. We've been very proactive. Yeah. We kept on using the word provisional results. We kept on using the words, even as we knew that we were accurate. We just didn't want to play to the gallery. So in making sure that we got it right, so it's not just declaring. We are aware if anybody is winning. If you don't listen or you don't pay attention to what the media is putting out, please, you lose the election. So it's very important. And if you are winning, too, it is the media that would also prompt you.
And by far, their projections were not entirely different from what the EC finally brought out. Yeah. So I would say, we did well in that aspect too.
Winnie, you haven't rated us though. You're trying to escape the question. Yeah.
Gloria has given us 100. Let's take by the 100.
If you look at the critical things that we're supposed to do. During the campaign, the media was up. We were giving them coverage. Yeah. Some media stations assigned reporters to the various political parties. Yes. I can speak of GBC. Yes. All the 7 political parties had reporters following them
all around the country.
All around, even to the northern regions.
Yes. Okay,
then we're getting information on what is happening there. I mean, the public were also given the platform to bring out their opinions, views on certain issues for the political parties to also understand. NPP was almost holding press conferences here and there. Yeah.
On election day?
Not even before or on election day, even before election day. You are there, you just have a text press conference at the NPP, you just have to rush there and get what they are saying. Yeah. And all those things account for how we monitored or how we covered the election. So by far, I think that the media
have already rated 100.
Yes, 100. But we did well. We did well.
We did well, but 100.
Okay, so what percentage would you give us?
Maybe between 90-95.
Wow. It's still 100. But let's dwell on the specifics. Mr. Watcher, as the head of camera, how were you able to mobilize resources in terms of human capacity and equipment-wise prior to even the election, on the campaign trail in itself? Because this time around, I saw that every candidate was assigned a reporter and a camera person.
Well, I would have to say that my employers, being GBC, the management of GBC, has done something that I was not even expecting. As a matter of fact, when we were hearing towards the elections, it became a problem for me. I could not sleep because the equipment on the ground was a problem. Because the equipment we had, and we, GBC, had gone out to promise all the political leaders that we'll give them camera wherever they go. Even if we don't have, we'll go and rent. And being the national broadcaster, we think that we should play that role. Yeah. And it became a problem, but somewhere along the line, management managed to give me 20 brand new cameras for me to be able to cover the elections. And not even the cameras alone, they gave us 30 outside broadcast equipment, which is the live view equipment that you can just take onto location and send pictures straight into the studio, live. So quickly, I'd have to organize all the cameramen all over the country. You know, we have cameramen all over the country in every region. So Tema, in addition, makes it 11 regions. And give them brand new camera and a live view equipment to follow the trend in every region. But coming back to the political leaders, we gave them 7 cameras to follow them wherever they're going. You will just be there and say, we are going to Akosombo. From Akoso, we are going to Afram place. Somebody say, I'm
how
going to
was it like previously? Did you give all candidates or
no,
it was just the major contenders?
No, that time it was, even the equipment position was bad. Yeah. So that one, we managed it. But this time around, we make sure that all of them had equipment, so there will be no complaints from anywhere. And as a matter of fact, I will applaud my own staff that they did so well. There were no complaints that this man behaved this way or the other way. And they all did well. When they come back, when they're on location, I call them to find out what is going on. And it's like they are all saying that they are doing their best. As a matter of fact, one camera to cover such it's not easy. But they managed. And I think that they should be applauded.
Great. And motivated.
Motivated.
Yeah,
that's important.
That should come. And Winnie, you were particularly on the campaign trail with the PPP presidential campaign. Tell us your experiences.
It was interesting. It was hectic. An experience that I hold dear. To get the opportunity to go around the country and see for yourself happenings. It was interesting. And then it gave me another perspective on elections. Because following Ejumera, Dr. Papa Kwesindu, the electorate gave the man some kind of hope, the assurance. You see, when we were following, we even thought, oh, this man will make this election go for a runoff. In fact, I spoke to him on a one-on-one, and the exuberance and the confidence the man had, and for him to get 1%, honestly, I was shocked. Because you go on the campaign grounds, there are times we had to go on location at 12 a.m. and you go there and people were waiting for him to speak to them. The atmosphere was always charged. People were dancing. So it made me realize that the number of people you see on the campaign ground doesn't always translate into votes. Because, 1%, and not even one parliamentary aspirant in parliament.
Upon all the
collaborations with PNC and was it NDP. So it surprised me when his results came, and at a point people were teasing that you mentioned PPP and you hear 1 2 1 2 1 2, and that was how it was. Every constituency, if he doesn't get 1, it's a 2. 1 is a 2. And I asked myself, so all those people who are jubilating, all those people who are giving him the assurances, where are they? Where are their votes?
I think that the mistake sometimes we make is that most of these people are based there. And I believe that, I don't know if it's true, but
definitely if they are based, they should be from other constituencies.
They'll be giving them
incentives.
Yes. So for me, if I don't have food to eat, and I hear that if I'm based here, I'm going to get 50 Ghana, I would go.
But let's be realistic. Were we as Ghanaians were we looking at a third force taking over?
You see, a previous election, he did well.
Okay.
He did well.
That was when he
did so well. And PPP. Last 4 years, it was PPP. Yes, it was
PPP.
So when I spoke to him, he told me last 4 years was the beginning. It was his entrance into, but this time is his real election. So if he was able to do that well in last 4 years, then he was going to do better. So that was where the hope came from, and I think it got dashed.
Right. Okay. So
let me make a point here.
Yeah.
Look,
Do.
third force Ghanaian elections, Ghanaian political scene. I doubt. I would.
Unless all the other smaller political parties
that it
come
cannot
together.
be done, but I think it's too early. A bit too early for us to be able to talk about a third force now, because look, between the NPP and the NDC, I said on this same platform some time ago, if the NDC doesn't campaign, if the NPP doesn't campaign, they have 4 million votes each there.
Wow.
They don't even campaign. They do not have to go and campaign. They have core supporters. They have this vote already there waiting for them.
Okay, so let that vote remain there. We'll come back to you. It is the Reporters Roundtable. We are sharing experiences as media people who covered the 2016 elections, the highs and the lows and all of that. I know very much that you want to come into this conversation. You can send in your text to 02444 75422. We are back after this breather.
I'm Theodora Medeto. Join Becky and other colleague journalists on Reporters Roundtable this and every Thursday.
So in our day-to-day practice of journalism, we get the opportunity to write on a litany of issues ranging from politics, business, health, religion and what have you. We seek to bring this experience onto one platform, the Reporters Roundtable. My name is Morris Ogbete. Watch the Reporters Roundtable on GBC24 every Thursday.
Journalism is dynamic, and as part of our responsibility, we are supposed to go out there, fish for information for the public. Today in Ghana, it is our duty to ensure that the masses know what is going on in society. Reporters Roundtable is a program that you can get all these things. Watch Reporters Roundtable with Rebecca Awuah this and every Thursday.
Okay, so this is a two-segment program where we are looking at election coverage and experiences by our very own, and we'll switch over to look at managing a win or a loss. Well, you were on a point.
Let me say that I was saying that a third force around this time is a bit too early. The two major political parties are well positioned, resource-wise. I mean, they have a lot of resources, not just in terms of money, but in terms of human capacity. Structure-wise, they are well structured, and so the getting closer to the election period, that I heard something between the PPP and then the NDP coming together. I think it lacked sincerity. They were not serious as political parties. I mean, if you wanted a collaboration, you don't wait so much when a timetable is almost exhausted and then you come out. No serious voter will listen to you. I'm telling you. The Ghanaian voter is getting sophisticated by the day. If you look at this particular elections, it was issue-based. And I think that as journalists and as media practitioners, media owners, think tanks, I mean, all the stakeholders, we all, pulled ourselves in making sure that we did not, allow space for unnecessary discussions. We made sure we focused on the issues. Journalists, we went to the politicians, we took the issues to them, and I think that it went a long way in fact, in even easing the tension, because then what we're going to vote for? We're going to vote because of a person, we're going to vote because of policies, we're going to vote because of programs. So for the first time, we managed as media people to pull the politicians and say, look, enough of the unnecessary talk. We want you to come and tell Ghanaians what it is. She spoke about numbers and how they are supposed to reflect on the results. Quite an interesting. I think that it wouldn't be bad if as journalists or as if we get, support, we should be able to, go and research and then be able to find out how come that numbers do not necessarily reflect, in the ballot that are cast. On the other question has to do with the other thing has to do with the fact that you may see a people massed up at a certain place. It does not necessarily mean that they are supporters of supporters of a particular party. Some of them come there because of various reasons. Yeah. For instance, look, in the lead up to the elections, I am aware that between the two major political parties, they had to sponsor people to go back to their hometowns and other places to go cast their votes. If, for instance, I'm just a Kayo in Accra here, and I cast my vote at Wa, and the elections are coming, and I know that buses will be made available. Buses were made available. Numbers were being given that call these numbers. If you want to go back to your hometown, these are the buses going to Wa. Right. These are the buses going to Ho. Yes. These are the buses going to Koforia or which other place. And I know if I pack my things, the later I've been able to, to put down from January to December, I'm going to cast the vote. And Christmas is also just around the corner. Why not? I will take advantage of it. Come for the T-shirt, maybe come for that small money you are giving me, and then you're also passing me free of charge to my hometown. Why not? I would go, because then when I finish voting, I'm not coming back until probably after the Christmas and then the New Year. These are some of the issues we should be looking at. But in general, this election, seriously, the media has done very well, and I think that going forward, we should not just say that we held politicians to the issues that they were, going around campaigning on. But I think the larger work will be when a new government had been sworn into office. Then we will be looking at timelines. We'll be looking at budgets. We'll be looking at feasibility, how feasible some of these programs are going to. Are we going to look at continuation? Are we going to look at reviewing some of the programs from the previous administration? What are we going to be looking at? When they say free SHS, when they say we are going to modernize or review the NHIA, what are we looking at here? These are issues going forward. One district, one dam, one factory, one something. These are laudable programs, no doubt about it. But who will be the people pushing these agendas? For me, these are the larger issues going forward. And as the media, we should assist the politicians by assisting them. By what I mean is that we should be holding them accountable. We should be holding them to the things they told us that made us vote for them whilst in office. And
definitely we will do that. Okay. Definitely we will do that, because we've not even sworn in the president-elect, and people are sending in signals. You promised us this and we are waiting. And it's the media who is still carrying these messages to them, wherever that they are. You promise the people this, you must be accountable to them, you must do whatever you promise. So definitely, the media, our eyes will still be open, our eyes will still be on the ground, and everything will be fine.
Right, and having said that, I have been informed that PPP had 1 seat in Atewamanting, and that's on the record.
1 seat?
1 seat, yes,
that's
in
fine.
Parliament.
That's fine.
Yeah, so
that's fine, because
no, that's good.
That's good news.
Because all along we're thinking that
all along, yes, the information.
But see, my problem with the whole thing is that the smaller parties, at the point they will mention that somebody had 0, and I said, how? Where were their agents, their executives?
Was it in the news that where even the pastor voted? That was candidate
Mahama.
Even where his pastor voted,
he didn't get anything.
But the question is this:
the pastor vote for you.
Secret. The person, Mr. Edward Mahama, will need to ask himself is: Does he have any evidence to the effect?
Oh no, the man had 0.
He had 0.
So, if he had 0,
so he trusted the pastor enough to say that he would vote for him.
But once it's let's defend ourselves. It's very painful to face the truth. But if my pastor, if I come to tell you, Rebecca, I voted for you on this table, and the votes are counted, and you still had 0. Who is saying the truth and who is not saying the truth?
The ballot is showing it.
The ballot is the one saying the truth.
So it means they didn't count his vote. Is that it?
I mean, we shouldn't trivialize. These are very serious
issues.
But then again, will it be right for somebody to say that Ghana, we are heading towards a 2-party state if somebody says that?
Fundamentally, we are. But what I'm saying
when
is
all
that
the alternate parties try to join forces and
the
let's see how it
incumbents
will
have
pull
always
out.
said that they believe in Kwame Nkrumah's ideologies and all those things. But I would want to tell them today, if they are watching us on this program, that it is not enough telling me you believe in Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah's ideas, let's see if Kwame Nkrumah were even alive and still the leader of this country. Some of the programs he had implemented at the early stages of his administration, of his government, he would have been reviewing them because times are changing. And until they come together and play along on one particular issue, I think Ghanaians will not take them seriously. Because I don't understand why between the MPP and the NDC, some voter will go and stand somewhere and waste his or her vote, when he knows that eventually, you know, these smaller parties will not have any impact or any say in national discussions when it comes to serious decision making. So they should get their acts right. If they need to come together, let them come together. One program, come to Ghanaians. I believe the Ghanaian electorate, as I said, is getting sophisticated and would have something. Look, we've tried the MPP, we've tried the NDC, the MPP is back. And what are we going to look at? What are we going to see? You understand? So this is the period for which they themselves also need to go back. You understand? Into an incubation,
do their homework.
You know,
drawing board.
a situation or something, and then assess themselves, because some are getting 0, not even 1%. So why the little resources maybe they should even forget if they come together.
But let's not forget that the numbers that makes up that 0.0 something percentage are huge numbers.
It doesn't reflect
people believing in your policies.
It's a drop. It doesn't reflect anything. If they will come together and rather forget the presidency and concentrate their resources together, saying we are concentrating on parliamentary seats, this is the time for them to come together and probably strategize and then target. Look, there are known CPP seats within every constituency or within every region in this country. They should concentrate on those places and then target their resources at the parliamentary level, because it's better you are able to affect national decisions in Parliament than probably seeking it at the higher.
Okay, let me take Gloria's experience. You were in the National Coalition Center. At a point, I saw you interview some of your colleagues in the media who had slept there and all of that. Share with us. How was it like? Was the myth surrounding that strong room thing dispelled?
Really, it was dispelled. The only thing was it was hectic because you had to be there from Wednesday to Friday. You don't know when the EC is going to do a briefing. You are just there, and so you always have to be at the media center. And so they come and say, in 30 minutes, there's a press briefing. So you have to be ready. So you can't move from where you are. And most people had to sleep on the floor. You have your brush and your paste. You just go into their toilet and you do your thing and you come back fresh. And so that was what was happening. And I think that this time...
Is that to suggest you were not taking your bath?
I had to check into a hotel. Most people were not because they were not going home. Wow. And because of issues with accreditation, you had to be there because it's your name and it's your picture. If someone else comes and use yours,
that person wouldn't be allowed.
No. I mean, security was very tight there. And so that was the problem. And then this time around, if you checked, the strong room, the views about strong room was expelled. So this time it was open to the media. First, it was just a small room where they have the fax machines, they have the photocopies and all stuff. Then you have the political parties, two reps from, and then I think one member of the commission present there. No media allowed. But this time it was open to all. You could go in if you were given accreditation, because you needed a different accreditation to go to the National Coalition Center. And so, I mean, it was open. It live, you could see what was going through. You could go to the political parties, talk to them. Oh, how many results have you received so far? And they'll be willing to talk to you. And Becky, you know what was surprising over there? The political parties, they had one table where they were all seated. They were joking. And so it just got me thinking. And I was like, people out there think that these people are enemies.
Suppose rivalries.
No, but they are not. They were teasing the NDC and they were like, oh, let's finish counting the result. The independent guy said, oh, he knows he's going to win in the north. And so he's waiting for the results from the North to come because he knows that the North is going to make it. Yes. And so you see, when he says that, someone says something else, they joke and it was so fun. This Mahama song, Onapo, one person had it as his ringtone. And so someone will call, they'll be singing, they'll be dancing and making fun of each other. So I think that it's time Ghanaians came to that realization that if I am in political party A and this person is in political party B, it doesn't make us enemies. Not at all. Because the people who are leading us are not enemies. Friends. They are friends. They sit, they joke. When President Mahama called Nana Akufo Addo, the whole place was chaos. They were jumping, they were singing, and I was, who does this particular party member jumping? Who is he supporting? Is he happy that Mahama has finally conceded? And so the process is over, or is he happy that Nana Akufo Addo has won? You understand? So these were some of the questions I tried to find out from them. They were happy, they were jumping, embracing each other. And so for us as a people, we should come to an understanding that it is not all about war, it is not all about fighting. It is for the common good of the country.
But how was your experience, like the switch over from radio to television and the reportage? You want to talk about that? Think about that. Let me go to Mr. Boshe. Mr. Boshe, were there any peculiar challenges that your men on the ground came up with, or as the camera division, what were the challenges in moving forward? How do you envisage election coverage as far as equipment-wise is concerned?
Well, in fact, before the elections, we met as a department, and I conscientized everybody, make sure that what we are going to do this year is different from what we did last year. And all my men were in there with their hearts. They wanted to come out for the nation to see that, yeah, GBC, we are different now. And for that matter, they all came out. But the fact of the matter is that some traveled as far as to Suhum and slept there till the next day. And they went all over. For Accra, we distributed 15 cameras and then 11 cameras in the regions. So everybody was giving me reports from location. It wasn't that bad. It was boring sometimes that you see it and one person will come and vote and go away. Another person will come and vote and go away. And they were just there waiting to see what will happen. It was tiring. And I think that motivation, like you said, next time is necessary. Because seriously, some of them did not even know where to pass to find something to eat. Yes, and it's true, because he knows what I'm talking about.
Let me put it this way. I am very privileged. That in my early years as a journalist and a young one at that, I have served at the presidency. I have reported from the presidency right from late Professor Mills's time up until now, and it's grown me. It's opened me. I've built great relationships, particularly with the lady I work with, Tina Mensah. Great personality. She's a camera lady, and I should say she's the greatest camera person I've worked with. She's one person who takes her job very seriously. Even when there is tension, even when there is, cameramen jostle each other and struggle to get the best shots and all those other stuff. As a lady, sometimes I even fear for her. We've done we've been on some of the most dangerous locations before. And being who she is, I think that reporters, sometimes we are able to keep our thoughts properly organized because of the body language of our cameramen. The cameramen do a lot. They're able to whip us into line because they are aware if there's they show the type of energy they extend towards us does really affect our flow on air. So if I'm reporting, like we did, and I was with Tina Mensah all through.
And that is greatly rooted in relationship.
It is. You must necessarily build a strong relationship with your camera person if you are a TV broadcast journalist. It is very important because the person is virtually putting you in front of the nation and the whole world. Remember today, as we are talking to you now, somebody is streaming this live on the internet. And so if the cameraman cannot get us positioned properly, if they are showing their anxieties, you would also be afraid. But what we've got into, and let's say we are on location, people are fighting, all things are flying over, but she manages. Tina will tell you, why don't you stand here? Maybe we'll be able to get it this way. And your ability as a journalist also to listen to your camera person, because you see, the camera person on location is not only doing sound. She's also, or the person is also trying to get you to the larger audience. Your ability to be able to listen to how they want you to, stand, whatever it is. And then presentation skills also forms part. And so for me, she's the greatest person. I wish I could work with her forever. We are still.
You do fight, don't you?
I think that.
It happens
I think that.
times.
I think that it is
you
very
put
important.
That behind and focus on the job.
It is very important that, whilst building the relationship, you don't just build a professional relationship with your colleagues, because she's a photojournalist. I'm a broadcast journalist. We are all journalists until we see ourselves as such and allow the respect to filter through. There would always be this tension. But sometimes, yes, it's very true. We are on location and I go to push her a bit. I'm like, hey, I want you to do this for me. He said, I've already done it. Are you the one to tell me? I mean, such small bit of back and forth. I think we should be able to have enough space to be able to contain some of these things. And genuinely, sometimes, look, we push ourselves for almost 5 days. The first 72 hours I was with her, she couldn't go home. And this is a lady I'm working with, for Christ's sake. So finally, we had to come to a point. I'm like, okay, so what do we do? Okay, then you'd have to go sneak in, change, and then you come back, and then we journey together. So it's a very, it's not been an easy relationship. But the most important thing is that if there's respect, that filters through. At any point, there will be that tension. But look, at the end of the day, those tensions do not matter. It's the job and the people that matters.
Right. Mr. Botsoe is comparing with you. And
Mr. Botsoe knows.
I know who he's talking about. Yeah. The lady is good.
That aside,
I can tell him that there are people in my department who can match that lady.
Of course.
The fact of the matter is...
And even do that. Yes. And even, that's what I wanted to say.
And I have equally worked with that lady, and I think that she's great.
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, in my department, there are ladies there who I can say that this election, they have done so well.
Yes.
And with, let's say, photojournalism, mainstream, how do we marry the relationship? Going on location, how you even talk to your camera person about what you are going to do, so that they know how to frame their shots and all of that. How do we do it so smoothly without any challenge?
As for GBC cameramen, they are professionally trained. They get to location, they know what to do. So if maybe there's a problem in the house or he has some problem, then that's why you see there are negatives. But for them, I tell you honestly, wherever you take them to, they will give you the shots.
But at a point where a reporter is in without telling the camera person,
he knows what to do.
Oh,
he knows what to do. When you get to location, even sometimes your reporters they are interested in the content, they are interested in the speeches, and the cameraman is left alone, and they make sure that they'll give you the pictures to match what you are writing. And by the time you come, sometimes there are frictions on location. But at that one, we leave it on location.
Okay.
But I believe that it's teamwork.
Yes.
It is teamwork.
Yeah, it's true.
Because even if you are prepared to work with the person and the person is not really in tune with you, that friction would definitely be there.
But it ends on location.
I believe it is. It does.
It ends on location.
It does. So I believe that it is entirely teamwork. Yeah. Before you set out, you just have to talk to your cameraman, know what is ahead of you. Yeah. You prepare for the day, and then
going to cover.
And my little opinion is also that, in as much as it is teamwork, we shouldn't see ourselves as though one is superior to the other and all of that, because usually it turns out that the reporters think they are the, so they try to downplay the technical people.
It's not always
when it comes to television work. it is a production. So without the other, you hang.
You see, Becky, it's not always about a cameraman or a reporter feeling superior to the colleague, but it's about.
I'm not saying it as a straitjacket, but
I understand what you're saying. But it's about the cameraman also feeling comfortable that the reporter can also walk up to you and tell you, "I need this shot," and so give it to me. It is not the place of the cameraman to tell the reporter, "What are you going to do with this?" Because some people, for instance, on location, they are writing the script with the shots they are calling for.
Precisely.
So if a cameraman will, drag the feet and ask you, "What are you going to do with this shot that I'm giving you?" Then the friction starts building up.
Okay.
So it is just the teamwork.
Okay. So we would have to wrap up. You didn't tell us about your experience. Finally,
the little I can say is
no, with the radio 10 television. quickly.
It was interesting. After my first interview I did, I mean, giving a view of the collation center, I started having calls. I was frightened. I was like, did I do this well? Because it was my first time doing TV. Then I started having calls. "Oh, you are doing well.
Keep on.
I was like, wow. Then I can do this.
Are you expecting?
That is the difference between a radio journalist and
a TV journalist. But you see, it's the difference is not so much. Once you do radio, you can do. It's just a script, and then it takes a longer time to do your stories.
Of course.
Than I mean, I can sit and within 2 or 5 minutes, I can write my story, do my editing. But for
we
TV,
have to go to the editing room and stuff.
But I'm looking into the future. I'm looking at a point where radio and television in GBC will be reporting as one stream, unlike during election time. Because when you go to the BBCs and what have you, they have a radio. You find the same reporters here. You find that they are all trained. So looking forward, I'm hoping to see that day come. And I'm praying I'll be alive to see that day.
Before we wrap, can we touch on the apparent chaos that is going outside with the political
We'll do that in our next segment. So let me have your final words. Any challenge you particularly face that you looking forward, like going forward, how Ghanaian elections should be covered?
Well, I feel that there has been, like we have all agreed, a successful election. That there is more room for improvement. That is what I believe. That the nation, like we've said again, we've come out the victors. We've done well. Everybody around the world is patting us at the back. We should keep it up and then think to do more in subsequent elections. And Ghana, as always, will win.
Ghana wins. Yeah. Is that what you quickly?
Yeah. To me, cameramen all over, not GBC alone, this year have done so well. And I think that the standard we've set this time around, we should not come down to it. We should improve it and make sure we anticipate to hit the high line like the BBCs and the Al Jazeera's and things like that. So we should not be complacent and stay lower than that.
Well, now will tell me why he's laughing.
I think that the coverage of elections in this country would never be the same again. Innovation, technology in particular, has aided our work so much. Now with the live transmitters, very small ones, very compacted ones, from anywhere, your station could pick you live. And so I know that many of the media institutions or media houses by now would also be setting back, probably from January, to review the coverage of the elections, how they've gone about it, where to improve. Not just the elections, but the coverage in general would also inform media houses going forward, not just into another elections, but the ad broadcasting in general, from location, from other. There are many important national events that will be taking place from 2017 going. And we'll be giving live coverage and other broadcasting those programs. And so I know that the face of broadcasting, radio, I mean, all across TV, even on the internet, would never be the same again.
It would never be the same again. And I have some messages in here. This one says, if you listen to someone's opinion, then you can't shape in your own. This is from Ramsey Chachu Tamaklo. Ramsey, thank you very much. This one also says, oh, the experiences the ladies in here have shared touches me so much. But unfortunately, you didn't add your name. This one says, good morning. Your discussion is so fantastic. Tell your cameraman in the studio that his friend, Mr. Randy, is greeting him. Okay. I think you have all the fun. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for sharing your experiences. I wish we could have extended it to the producers, the technical behind, because the calls that comes through,
of course,
and the IT personnel and everybody. But we are very much grateful for your time. This has been the first segment of the Reporters Roundtable, where we've been touching on election coverage and the experiences of the journalists, or the media persons who covered it live to deepen our democracy. Please stay with us. We'll come back shortly and we'll touch on managing a win or a loss.
Roundtable provides viewers with in-depth examination of issues reported on leading media outlets across the world. A lively panel of journalists with comprehensive knowledge in all fields of endeavor, be it politics, health, business, sports, entertainment, information, communication technology, gender, law, international affairs and diplomacy, and a host of others will objectively dissect the matter of contention. On Reporters Roundtable, fairness, objectivity, factuality, and non-partisanship is our hallmark.
With us on 02444754422, and you can also send us that message on our Facebook platform, the Reporters Roundtable. Like our page and let's get more interactive. We are back in the studios. Earlier we were discussing election coverage and experiences by our media persons, and now we will be talking about managing a win or a loss. That is something, once you go into a competition, then you should psych yourself up for either a win or a loss. But how would you manage it and re-strategize to come back as a strong person? In the studio with me to do this is Mr. Richard Kumado. He is a fraud and security consultant. He is also a public speaker. Also here is Counselor George Luterodt. He's a Reverend Minister and a Councillor as such. And we still have in here Mrs. Gloria Anderson, who is a broadcast journalist. She is with Radio Ghana. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And Gloria, you have been here, so welcome to the second segment of the program. Let me start with you, Mr. Kumado. How should people psych themselves up once you are entering into a competition?
In every competition, there are two outcomes. It's either you win, you lose, or you draw. So the same thing applies to elections in Ghana. Take the two political parties, NDC and NPP. I always say to people, it's like horse playing kotoko. You get into the stadium, it's either you win, you lose, or you draw, and we'll go for penalties. And so you don't go into an election and say, I have won. And if you have won, there's no need competing then. So you should psych yourself. Anything can happen to you. But then the process needs to be managed, both from the winners and both from the losers. And especially in the terms of Ghana, nobody has lost. Ghana has won. Because you are coming to public office to serve Ghanaians. And if that is the will of the people, then that's it.
The sovereign will must reign. Gloria?
I think, like he said, it's true. You don't go in, you should have confidence in your ability to do well or not to do well. You shouldn't just focus on winning and winning and winning. I can tell you that there are people who support the NDC who are sick because their party lost. Some people put their all into the elections, and so when they lose, it affects their psyche. I have a friend, she's not been able to go to work. She's sick. And I asked her, why? What are you going to benefit? She said, I just love the party. And so I believed we were going to win. I'm sure that she's not the only case. It might be across board. If you go into it with a lot of confidence. It's good to have confidence in your abilities. You have done a lot and you know that people are going to vote for you. But it's an election and people change their minds even at the polling booth. And so even though it's good to go in with a lot of confidence, we must not go in with our all, because when it backfires, it brings a lot of problems. That's why you see a lot of people going to the streets, causing confusion and all that.
Counselor.
Rebecca.
Give me your take.
Thank you very much, and another good day to viewers. I believe that, like Mr. Kumado said, and like the lady said, I disagree with them. And that's what is going on that I don't like, personally. Ghana has not won the election. Why is everybody saying Ghana has won? On the ballot paper, there was no Ghana.
But they represent Ghana.
No. Let's not be hypocritical about this. Because to grieve a loss or for you to celebrate a win, we have to have a clear distinction and stop this hypocrisy. We had MPP, NDC, NDP, DPP, whatever. They went into the contest. Who won? MPP won. Ghana has not won.
But when they say Ghana has won...
When we say Ghana has won...
Are you now redefining what you said?
Wait, let me expatiate, Counselor. You know, for instance, when Nana Akufo Addo made his speech,
yes,
he categorically, even though he represents
that
the
is
NPP,
no, Rebecca, that is a hypocritical statement for all Ghanaians. We don't want to hear these things.
Oh, but he will be a president for everybody.
How many Ghanaians will Nana Akufo Addo have the confidence to put them in office if they are not political party members? We should stop these things. Mama said the same thing. So what? This is why we can't grieve the loss. Will you give a jersey of a class of folk to a Kotoko player to play? You are not serious. You are not serious. That is where we are. We have to be truthful and stop this hypocrisy. It is not Ghana that has won. If you want to talk about the peace of the nation, thank God that the country is still at peace. That's all. We've not won. MPP has won. So we could check the way they are celebrating and check the way NDC is also celebrating. If not, we can correct it. Everywhere you hear, hey, let's all come together, it just, where from that? We don't grieve a loss like that. Loss must be grieved. Celebration must also be clearly put. And people must learn how to celebrate. That is how we can manage the pulse of the nation.
With the turnout of events now, how, to what extent should our celebrations be? And to what extent should we be able to manage our grief?
Now, the first thing is that if you want to ask somebody, how should your celebration be? Celebration in life is individual. That's the first thing. So if you are we are on air. So once you're on air, there's a producer, there's a floor manager. There are a lot of people who are managing this thing. So this is more or less like a script that we are acting on air. Is that not it? So there's somebody to tell you, quiet, ask this question, whatever it is that not what we do? But when it comes to celebration, nobody does it. Unless it's a celebration within a confine. So those who can check the celebration are those who are in charge of those celebrating. So for example, NDC has won. Those who can check the people from the way to celebrate are NDC caucus, MPP caucus. It ends there. But if you come and say that, hey, we know you've won, but you should do in moderation. What is moderation celebration? Because in Ghana, we raise our children not to know how to celebrate and not to mourn. When a Ghanaian is happy, he gets drunk. When he's sad, he gets drunk. So do you know how to celebrate? Go to the stadium. You watch other people who have been trained from childhood. When there's any celebration, they give you a sign of it. They clap. They scream. Here, what happens? All of you who went around with your cameras, all the media houses, what did you do? It was simple. It was like, people were cashing in. The beer bars were cashing in. And all those who were misbehaving out of their common sense were drunk. So when we say celebration, in Ghana, how do we celebrate? Our celebration is in bottles.
All right, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Gloria, you wanted to add something?
Yes. Well, if you can tell us what mode or the manner in which we should celebrate.
I'll tell you that. I'll come and tell you that. But I'll just tell you what is on the ground now.
And
what you are trying to stop.
On your part, to the extent that maybe your way of celebrating would extend to affecting another party, because we live in a society.
And it's normal.
Yeah. Gloria.
It's normal.
I know, but...
If your wife is playing a song of MPP in your house because she's an MPP supporter, and your husband, you are ending so and he's playing Onapo, Mama, Onapo, then you go and play them, you go and stop the music? You want to dance to it or you want to cry to it?
Right, right. But Gloria, how should the losers also go about the whole thing? Once you lose, is that the end of your life?
Not at all. That's not the end of your life. There's more opportunities. It's just another opportunity for you to put yourself together and then move on to the next level. I mean, people, you have had instances, you are doing your IA, you had mistakes, you have failed in some, you have results that you were not so happy with about. You just move on, make sure that the next time you study hard and then put yourself forward. It's not something that, I mean, if you look from 2008, we have had elections, 2012, we have conducted elections. In all these elections, there have been winners, there have been losers. And so that does not mean that when you are a loser, you should just go about destroying things. And then I don't quite agree with Counselor. When we are saying Ghana wins, the fact that we have all come to a conclusion, even after the results have been declared, you don't see people going to attack each other. It's
not true.
Minimal. I know.
So it's not true.
It's not as it should be.
How are you expecting?
Even from the voting, it's been calm. Did you hear any problems?
Yes, I heard a lot.
Voting?
Okay, Counselor, I'll come to you. Let's Gloria.
No, she's trying to come to what I said, and I heard a lot. So I wanted to know.
Yeah, sure. You have your turn to react.
And your cameras are not going there. I don't know why you're refusing to go there.
Gloria, please conclude your submission.
So, like I'm saying, Becky, there's definitely, like you said, there's definitely going to be a winner and a loser.
Perfect.
So whatever happens, we must come to an understanding that this is the point we have reached. Go and do our homeworks well, and then come back again. NPP lost in 2012. If you saw this time in 2016, they were more vigilant. They didn't do things like they did in 2012. And so I guess that after they had done their homework well, they realized where there were loopholes, and then they went back to correct those loopholes, and this has gotten them the victory. And so if you lose, no matter the area in your life where you lose, you must know that there is another level, and you must aim to get to that level, taking a critical consideration of what has happened, why you lost, what must you do to correct those things, and then you move on.
So, come on.
Yeah, like you asked me.
Yeah. To the extent that you lose or you win, and then you go about vandalizing government property, making statements that at the end of the day, you know indirectly you are referring to other people, and it will heighten tensions. Is that what we need as a country?
No, I don't think so. I think I somehow agree with my senior also. Me being a pastor and a security consultant, I somehow also disagree with my senior also here. Because you see, in 1992, I was an election officer in Accra. In 1996, I was election officer in WA. Then in 1992, I got closer to the processes, how it's done, because I was in the security service by then. Then we ran it forward. In 2008, when I returned back from London, I set up something we call Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers. For we are interested in the security and the compliance of the processes. When the councillor said NPP has won, that is the truth, we can't disagree. Yeah. But we are looking at the totality of what happened and the processes. Yeah. Of course, since 1992, when we returned to democracy, we have accepted democratic processes to be a system where we will elect our governance and our representatives. But it comes with a cost, huge cost. Yeah. If we abuse the processes, it will give us a problem. You were earlier discussing about Gambia and what happened there. There has to be diplomacy. There has to be, people must follow the processes. That is why I was on the side of Madame Charlotte said when he said, my responsibility to Ghanaians is not to declare the results quickly, but to declare it accurately. And violence on the street is a security issue. You know, Ghana, we sort of live like in a community. So if you go vandalizing somebody's mother's house or father's car or whatever it is, the community are aware. And in every conflict, there's a root cause. This could go on for about generations to come. And those are the things we need to watch from where I am sitting. All the naughty ones I have heard and the ugly ones, people killing people, abusing others and all that. That's why I agree with my senior brother that we should not do it. And people should manage how they celebrate, those in charge. And people should also manage their people, how the losers should behave themselves. And I agree with what the president Mahama said on his speech when the NDC guys went to his residence, and what President-elect Nana Akufo Addo said. And I think forward going, we should take it from there. Once we do not punish the offenders, others will rationalize it.
Yeah, and do it.
And people deliberately will go in for all manner of stuff, because in this country, when you arrest an NDC person, you need to arrest an MPP person in order to balance it. But I'll ask Councillor, I realize that GFA has ethics committee, Parliament have ethics committee. Why would not suggest ethics committee for politicians, so that instead of waiting to go to ICC, we'll take you to maybe the House of Chiefs. If you misbehave, you go to the Peace Council. We'll take you to they even go to IPAC and they never tell us anything. I believe that's why my senior brother is becoming radical this morning, because the issue of overvoting this time has changed. And as a fraud person, I have taught this thing publicly and privately. Every election comes with a policy. So when you go in for the CI 94, we can break it down to the various components of the election. Then the special voting. Remember, the people who went there to cast their vote for the special voting were not voting for themselves. They were voting for parties. Do they understand the processes? Everybody is doing emotional politics. And nobody was actually looking at the processes, because once you breach the procedure, it will affect the processes on the ground. And I have some recommendations for the Electoral Commission and the two parties, because they come out from IPAC, they don't tell anybody anything, and then we go into the election. Remember, in election, we are not spectators, but we are the players. And whatever we do, because what I'm saying is that even in football, you can win the match, but your players could be fine.
Yes.
So in politics, why will you big guys not suggest something? Let's have ethics for them.
You
so
see,
that
the issue is that I keep saying,
yes,
I keep saying every day that
I've been looking for him for all this year.
I keep saying that if we keep on comparing football to politics, it's like comparing apples to oranges, because they all have a circular mood. But with football, if a class of folk loses today, he knows in less than 3 months, there's going to be a match. And even before the match, they could play other minor matches. But we're talking about political terrain that within our fourth Republican Constitution, we've never had any goodwill for anybody who's out of power.
Correct.
We've never had it. Let me see. People will not like me, and I don't think I came into this world for anybody to like me. That's the thing. That's one thing with me. That let's see how we've treated those who have left office. This is why even the Ghanaian president is refusing to go. Because when you leave office, the way you are treated is something else.
And he has not even left, and the one who won was just saying so many things.
So you see, the problem is that, like you keep saying, if there are policies that gives you that comfort, and I use the word comfort, for serving your nation, then exiting office will be okay for you. Number two, we should learn that when it comes psychologically to competition, the winner prepares equally like the loser. They all prepare equally. If you see the amount of money spent in this election on NDC, MPP, all of you have even forgotten Papa Kwesindum, who has to go around. I mean, he did Green Street and all of them. I mean, all of them have spent some quantum of money. Where the money came from? Some are loans, some are compensations, some are monies from people who believe that when they come back to power, they will help them secure some particular jobs. It's part of politics in the whole wide world. So your loss is not just a loss for you, but it's a big loss for other people who have intention in 2017. So that's one. Everybody has a victory speech. Hardly do you find people having a speech for the loser speech. So once they win, they are able to turn in and come and say, give you a loser speech and whatever. And everybody will come and say, Ghana has win. That's what I want. They will keep saying it because they want everybody to believe that they are in power. But I want us to understand there's a process to losers and there's a process for winners. Even winners have a process to celebrate. If you give them the option, then you have to. What is that process? That's what I'm going to start for you. Okay. If you give them the option, then you have to sit down and do your analysis. And you know when analysis are done? They're done after 4 years. NDC after this loss can never do any analysis now, unless you're not a politician. But for those of us who have done political science and we understand politics, if they do any analysis now, they will not do anything until they make sure that MPP is in first gear, second gear. Then they can now sit and begin to run whatever it is. If you want to do any analysis now, it's not analysis for losing election. Analysis for wasting money is the first thing, because they are owing. How do you clear? You remember here, there was an MP who lost the seat and said he didn't even know that the son was in GSS2 until he lost the election. So there are people that it's part of their life. If your friend says, you say, oh, it's nothing, and never use the word it's nothing for a loser. Because the grieving process, the 5 grieving process must be established clearly. If President Mahama will come and say that, well, it's I want to thank all of you, whatever, he can never in his life get to acceptance as quick as he did.
Accepted.
However, he needs to do the human job because he is the president of the nation. He can cry in public. But if I were to be him, I will cry in public. Because you see, the thing is
that is why you are not him.
Good. But if you see, there are things that when you do by yourself, you get quicker relief than when you do it by people's orders.
But his face looked mostly
you
like
are, no, you are trying to look for his face. But the face can be just a particular act to run the issue. We are actors. He could be acting.
Even in
okay,
your
so
moments.
You can act.
Gloria, I will come back to that. As a counselor, with people who have lost something, be it any competition, not just election, but every other competition, and psychologically, how do the counselors come to play to help them so that they quicken that
healing process?
Yes, the healing process.
Now, the first thing is that I started advocating when they started this political terrain that we should do our best, and all our, what do you call them, our politicians should start having counselors on their campaign train.
I agree.
They didn't listen.
I agree with that.
So you can only manage people if you start the management before, because you need counseling before, during, and after. But unfortunately, we didn't have the before, we didn't have the during, but now want to do the after. So when you come, we have to do the reverse osmosis by going to the before. So we can only heal them by going to the before. And the before is giving the person the opportunity to tell you what their expectations were. So we discuss the expectations, and then we come back, provoke them. Why didn't the expectation come up? And then they begin to start their grieving process. In the first place, they want to start with denial. It is not true. This election, I don't think I've lost. So denial is where they start from. They will deny. I can't imagine I've lost. I didn't even imagine that NDC will lose. I'm not for NDC, I'm not for MPP. I voted. You say our vote is our secret, which is, for me, is never true. My vote should not be a secret. I should be able to tell everybody. But you say it's secret. So when I say it on GBC now, it will worry you. But I voted for one political, I didn't vote for 2. But what I'm saying is that,
come back to the
point. I'm there. Yeah. What I'm saying is that your vote is your secret. So that is where the pain is. So as she's sitting down, if your party has lost, how will you know? As I'm sitting there, if my party has won, how will I know? But now when they come at that denial stage, that is where you're able to get them, break them, for them to come to a point to say, why are you sad? Because I belong to party A. Why do you think party A? I say party A has not lost. We are still in power. Or I know we are still coming to power. So you see, that denial point is a stage in grieving a loss. When they get to the denial, you break them, then the next stage they find themselves is anger. And anger is another thing based on people's temperamental poles. Everybody like the way they be and the way they behave when they get angry. When they are angry, they eat a lot. There are some people, when they are even angry, they want to drink a lot. Some want to talk plenty. Some will not even want to dress well. So anger, that stage of anger, and this is what I'm saying, is on TV. It's going fast. But that process can delay over 4 years. Nana Akufo Addo has been 18 years wanting to be a president. You can be shocked that up to even the day he was president-elect, he has still not gotten to acceptance of the 2012 elections. It's a process. I met somebody who was crying as if Atamils just died after the election. She was just crying, and she was just crying that you have to bring her for us to manage her, not for the loss of the election.
And what are some of the things you tell such people so that, as you say, it is a process, but in the interim, as counselors, what are some of the things you do to manage the situation?
The first thing is to provoke the person to accept that you need to go through the process. And I'm saying that they are denier, you don't fight it. You agree with them and let them know that you are denying that there's a change in power. On the 7th coming, Dankwa will be the president. He says no. Something will happen. We are about to change something. And so you are going to produce that evidence to the person to realize that there's a change. This is a percentage. This is what it means. And that is what you need to do first. Then when the person is angry, you want to manage the anger. At the angry level that he wants to bargain, why wouldn't they even want to do power sharing? So the person will even want to bargain. And in the bargaining, you hear why they are bargaining. I'm an official of the NDC. I've been working at the office of the president, and this is what I've been doing. I was working here, but I resigned to come and join here. Now that the party is going, even me and my wife and children, what are we going to eat? So now this is where they bring their bargaining thing here. So we get to that bargaining stage and want to help them in their bargaining. What can we do for them? Do they have a degree? Do they have a certificate that will get a new employment? It means you're going to go to career guidance now for them to even go for training if you don't have any at all. So it's a very difficult thing to manage them. Some you have to even begin to feed their families. Okay. Some are going to have rental challenges. Some are going to change status. They can't even move to some place because the cars they were driving were cars of a particular political party or a particular government official or whatever. They can't do it again. Some were cashing on the political parties that were in opposition. Tomorrow they'll come for one year and say, Yanya way, Yabeba, Yanya way, Yabeba, and that's how they were eating. All of a sudden the party is in power. Can you go back and say, Yeah, way, Yabeba, we're already Yaba? So this thing is not only for winners and losers. Even some of the winners today are crying the party is in power because what they were doing to eat, now that the party is in power, they won't get again. So managing the both is an individual thing. I keep repeating that until you get the individual, you can't do group counseling for all MPPs, all NDCs, all NDPs, and then we've even forgotten about Nana Kunedu, we've forgotten about the rest of them. They're also going through difficult times. But because we say they are lesser parties, that's why we don't talk about it. But all of them needs counseling, including the president-elect.
Okay. Mr. Kumado, I saw you nodding that you wanted to come in. There's this saying that too much of happiness kills. So as Councillor has he adduced to some extent in his submission that yes, it's not only the losers, but to some extent sometimes the winners as well. How do even winners also manage their win?
You see, there's a basic structure here. Councillor said so many things in the past. He was talking about money spent. Because you know, I've been agitating for this one. There's no law in Ghana that talks about how political party activities should be financed.
Yes.
So these guys go on wherever they get the money from. So somebody come into power and you begin to hear about corruption. Somebody goes out of power and you begin to hear about certain contracts being awarded. Where do you think they'll get the money from? Everything you see on the street, the jama you see, every song, everything you see, somebody has paid for. Therefore, the political structure of our nation, since we are embracing democracy, we need to look at it again. The winner takes all, something has. That argument has not been expatiated for we to have any intellectual discussions on it. Livelihood has been attached to politics, and to some people, it's about life and death. So managing them, they as councillors, I don't envy them at all. I do a little bit of counseling because I'm a pastor. Some people are going to die. It's like, let me give you this example. It's like you go for a party, you do your wedding, and you have a refreshment in the church. The next day, they are coming to use the church for service. When we do the party, it's only the protocol people get to shake them. But when the wedding is over, you need to get people behind to make sure they put up the place in order. Whether you paid for a rented cleaner, somebody needs to be there. In every election you see, people die. And there are so many dirty things behind the scene that people need to clean it up. For where I am sitting, whether you are winning or you are losing or you are happy or you are not happy, it's God who brings one and God who takes one. And therefore, you need to manage it. Councillor talk about career, and those are where we talk about. Yesterday, I was talking to some people how they need to build themselves so that you don't depend so much on NDC and NPP. Because my daddy told me it has to be profession and not politics. And if it is politics, then it must not be about partisan.
Devoid of profession.
And when you become a partisan, then we prepare you for office. And go into political office, remember, it's your position and not possession. Because if you think it's your possession, then we'll send it to because you might be there today, tomorrow you are no more there. You have to manage the process. Even me as a pastor, I have counselors I work with, because sometimes so many people come with so many things. In this particular election, NDC, NPP, we need to have election ethics that will bring those who carried excesses. We know of stories of arresting car parks and toilets, and now if it escalates to destroying government property, whether you are angry and you are doing it or you are too much happy and you are doing it, then the loss of the nation has to take
As for that, I think it's far from politics.
Remember, people, it's a criminal offense.
Yeah, he is a fraud and security
people said the police are not doing this. The police, but because you remember, is it not the same politicians that abuse the police? Yes. And once they weaken the hands of the police, you are calling the same police people to come to our aid. It's a totality of everything that this discussion for 1 hour or 2 hours cannot exhaust it. But you have to look at it. What are we doing before the election? You've heard of violence, and that is where they prepare the way to whatever you are seeing now. 4 years ago, we had problem with the machines. This year, no problem. What did they do? They push it to the evening when there's going to be coalition. Afarajan said, NDC, MPP, don't do recounting at the police station. So now we do recoalition. You've seen the tricks they are coming out again. Let the managers of the election process bring more transparency, integrity, for which all the parties must get involved. And that is the only way we will know that your councillor is telling you that when you are going to this election, please, there are only two outcomes. You either win or you lose. What are we going to do? When you are in NDC and your party lose, what is next for you? When you are NPP and you are coming into office and you win, what is next for you? Because to whom much is given, much will be required. And that has always been my position, that if the likes of him could come at me, I'm interested in setting ethics commission for
an advocate for that.
Politicians.
It will never
work because the two of them are involved, isn't it?
Anybody, I mean, there are so many bills that have not been passed, and it will not be passed because it will eat us back.
Gloria, you know that this is not the first time we are organizing elections as a nation, and this is not the first time the MPP has won or the NDC has won. What would be your advice for both sections? Moving forward, how should they re-strategize, or how should they put their acts together so that moving forward, because after all, you need not be hunted by challenge or a loss. You also have to surmount that bit because it's part of life. Yeah.
But I guess like my two colleagues have said, it's because most of the political parties go in with a lot of expectations because they spent a lot of money campaigning, and so they expect that when they get into office, they're able to recoup all those monies they have spent. If that kind of issue is addressed, it will help a bit. That's why you have people going to the toll booth saying that their party is in power, so they have to come and take over. They must understand that those facilities belongs to all of us. And so the person working there is neither NDC nor NPP. Whatever is collected is used for the development of the state. And so we don't need to go to the extent of going to vandalize state institutions or state facilities. That will not help us. We all need to go back to the drawing board, check where we had made our mistakes and correct them. That's what's important. And then getting to understand that this is where we have arrived. If you watch Esiedun Ketia at the National Electoral Commission, he was calm. He was talking, cheering with Macmenu happily. So it's get to a point where sometimes what Counselor Rev.George was saying, I kind of thought it's far-fetched that
Esiedun Ketia will not greet Macmenu.
You know, they will need counseling and all that. Yes. Yeah, I think that
they need it, Papa.
They get to a point where you have lost and there's nothing you can do.
So something I can do.
Maybe because he's a counselor, but I think that is far away.
Well, you see, that's how it is. If we've not gotten closer to you, I tell people that one of the painful things on earth is to have toothache. I don't know if you had one before, but if you have toothache at night, you will say everything in this world. Adichia me too missing. A same way me too. Once it goes in the morning, you don't think that way again, because there's a way. I'm saying that grieving process, and the problem I have really found out is that we currently don't know even how to delay gratification, and delayance of gratification is what would let you learn how to celebrate or learn how to mourn a loss. And when we say we are delaying gratification, simply put, how many of our children today, when they cry for water that is not theirs, we don't give them now? Parenting is gone. Now it is zookeeping and poultry farming. So the children we are having on the streets, they have lost the center boat. So they celebrate just anyhow because they don't know how to delay gratification. If this is what I want to get it. Because naturally, why will you go around and vandalize NDC billboards? Why will you go around and block roads? I heard somebody has blocked an asphalted road and said this road was made by Mahama. So if you are passing, so voting my MPP.
It's also the level of illiteracy.
It's not the level of illiteracy.
I'll come back to you, but then I'll place this issue at the doorstep of the media. Gloria,
before you ask Gloria, I have a question so that you can ask Gloria on my behalf. When you are sent to the office of the president, as a reporter from the office of the president, does it make you that particular political party's member? Does it?
No, it shouldn't.
Because watch it coming. And this is by Counselor Luterodt. I'm on GBC.
I know.
Watch it coming. All the reporters that were reporting when the government was in power, like my neighbor friend who left, maybe if he was reporting for this, if you are in graphic and you're reporting, you are, GBC are reporting, immediately at once by force, you are changed.
It's just an attachment.
They will change you.
Yeah, no.
And they are changing you because the new party says they are not comfortable with you. But you are a journalist. You are reporting for GBC. And that is where your boss thinks you are competent enough. So once they ask you to change and bring Rebecca report. But she doesn't have the skills of reporting from the office of the president. But once the president comes and he says, even there are programs on GBC, there are some political parties will come and they'll say, don't bring this program anymore. This is where the problem is. So why would you want to leave power? So the guy is going to get hurt because he's moved from the office of the president. So the political parties come quietly. They don't know what they are doing even in the media homes. So some political boys right now, they even want to resign. Because they know definitely that I am no more going to this presidency anymore to report because there is a change in government. So if you're going to ask her, maybe she will be able to tell us why they bring these troubles to themselves.
Yeah, Gloria. Why?
I wish you know about this issue. Seriously.
Why?
No, I was with radio before I moved to TV, and I knew way back, even in 2006, that it was based on your level you have gotten on the
before
structure, and not with any party affinity or whichever party says he or she wants, because they can't determine editorial content and who reports at where. But wouldn't you say that over the years too, some reporters have clearly shown that even if I report here, even though I have been sent there, then the affinity becomes so loud and clear. So then, of course, the party, whatever, who calls the shot, will say that then, of course, I'm not comfortable with you. How should we behave as journalists who have a duty bound to Ghanaians as a state broadcaster or as a media person, irrespective of party affinity?
I'm waiting for the answer.
Yeah.
Because if you've interviewed Mahama before, it's likely that you never get access to interview Akufo Addo.
Oh, well,
watch the records.
Allow Gloria, Reverend.
I really wish that
this question was not asked.
I'm serious.
It has been asked.
It's put me in a tight corner, seriously. Because I have had my own experiences, but I can't share them here.
Okay.
I think that sometimes the reporters get too attached. She might be going in a neutral person. Probably she doesn't even belong or doesn't have sympathy for that particular party. But once you start reporting at the place, you are working with people. You begin to see the truth. You build, not just the truth, you build relationship. And so based on the relationship you have built, that's also as part of it. Based on the relationship you have built, you begin to have some form of tendency for that party. And so you change your ways to suit them. It happens. You are a counselor. It's a relationship thing.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be so.
Thank you. Professionalism, relationship shouldn't be so.
Shouldn't come in at all. We must be professional at all times. If I have a few friends, if you go on Facebook, you see them complaining about this same issue, that reporters who report from the presidency tend to get too attached to them, such that they become
spokespersons.
Exactly. And that shouldn't be the case. You are just a reporter. Go report the facts you have seen and come and give it to the public as it is, devoid of your own interest. It is so bad that sometimes it reflects in the writing of their reports. I don't know how it's going to end, but
when Nyonator won, he mentioned the name of some journalists. Didn't he?
He did.
He did. He mentioned Kwame Sefakai.
He created a problem for us because he mentioned the names of some pastors. And immediately I had a call.
No, but the pastor, they have to mention you because
some people said we are not going to finance our pastor again because then we didn't know
he was a
but
it's okay.
Maybe he's just praying for the person. You see?
No, don't say that. You can't be praying for something you don't believe in.
The issue you are talking about, even ran through the security. You remember the South Africa 3?
Yeah.
Who watches, who guides our opposition leaders? Cast your mind back. There was a problem between Atamil's security men and President Akufo's security men. Yes. I has been advocating that the state should be providing security for them. You see, so this professionalism and this unseen victimization do not only happen to media people, but it's also run through the security of their
I think it's because of the way we've made politics. It runs through everything.
The structure itself
everything that
and
we
the people
have.
who manages the politics is becoming a problem.
And
so
now we've had a new people to join.
We have professionals who have the
We've had a new group.
They wouldn't allow them because when you are a full seller and you're happy to be following somebody, then now your government is in power. They quickly pass through something. No, it's not run that way. And we're going to have these problems because when the SA3 were here, what did they come to do? It brought us on national security. It's a whole lot of something we don't discuss publicly, and we think, as for the media, our reportage. And sometimes we see, when people are giving yourself 100%, I was just standing there laughing. Some of the things people say on air, the security implications for the nation, and they as councillors, they're like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
But you guys pass through all those things. Bad reportage is what has become the order of the day.
Because
other policies, media, and the way you guys carry yourself. The days we're growing up in Joy FM and Tomiana Forcing and all those great guys. If you run it down to Comrade Dumont and Kojo Nkrumah, and I have advocated for people to listen to Joy severally, but across board.
Oh, and not GBC, and you're on our platform?
No, I mean, GBC, you've always been here. But we say they should look up to GBC. And they should.
Everybody who speaks was trained on GBC. So when people are bad in other stations, they are coming from GBC.
No, when you get to that, that's not.
But I was just saying that there's a third group that have joined this group of media people, the church. And watch it. This Sunday, just past Sunday, I don't know if you watch church services. Your cameras went.
Did. Yeah, I did.
Some pastors were
on social media. In fact, I was surprised to have seen churches. Even the pastor was on the floor with the. I wouldn't want to mention the colors.
No, why? No, he was in a floor with MPP colors.
Wait, this is a strictly Orthodox church.
Celebrations you are talking about.
You understand? It's not like how would I call it? We target one man church where you everything is centered around the leader. But these are strictly Orthodox churches with structures who would ordinarily
no. You see, the thing is that what you have to learn is I'm saying that the third group that are going to fight in this country now is the church.
Because you see,
and all of you are quiet about it. Just this Sunday.
People make the
just this Sunday. No, watch it.
Isn't the church the first in line?
With
because
first in line for what?
You are talking about a third force.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm saying that when you mention the category of people that we are supposed to now going to see, they are going to victimize people like the media from the presidency, people the other people you are going to fight now is the church, because some churches are quietly divided after this election. Because just this Sunday, a whole pastor will stand in front and tell the people that the election is over. And everybody here must learn that until Nyonator is put on the seat, colors of Nyonator and the MPP will continue flying in this church.
Which is expected.
No, you see, it is not expected.
No,
it shouldn't go to the church.
It is like prophet Owusu Bempah. Like Prophet Owusu Bempah.
I would.
I'm the one block.
No,
GBC.
you are.
I am the one saying on your platform. I am not going to speak. Can I finish?
If we allow them,
you see, when you say don't mention names, the only name you mention you don't go in trouble in this country is Jesus Christ. But when human beings do things, do things, I'm saying that he came categorically to tell everybody. This is what Prophet Owusu Bempah said. And I'm saying that, like, let's use his church, for example.
Okay.
If the church of Owusu Bempah it's not MPP throughout. Because he made a statement that if MPP don't win, they should burn down his church. This is security implication. But we took it spiritual. When the election was going on, he came back on air and said that Mahama should just come and concede the seat immediately at this time because he's supposed to do that. I mean, and he has airtime through journalists. The church has now become a political church. You can't change it. And this Sunday celebration, it was clearly put. People have the right to celebrate. But I'm saying that the church is a sacred, holy place with higher level of common sense. That when you attain that spiritual hierarchy of being called a man of God, regardless of what position you find yourself, you need to really bring people together and not divide people. So we're going to fight that church thing. And people are going to lose a lot of things after the election. So let's watch it. That you, the media people, what can you do to stop what is wrong? Because we say you are the third arm or the fourth arm or the sixth arm, and I've not seen your fingers in the arm, but you have arms. So that's what is happening to us now, the church.
Yeah. Reverend, we have some messages in here. This one says, I agree with the man in the Ghana t-shirt, or the Ghana shirt. God bless him. This one is from Augustine in Awudome. Augustine, thank you very much. Okay, so Gloria, any more to add?
Well, for me, I think that I quite agree that the church should not take up politics. But, Becky, it's the same politicians who are in the church. It's the same accountants. You and I are also in the church. And so definitely, you talked about celebration and how people should celebrate. So if they think that it's Sunday, my party has won, I'm going to church to thank God.
My church is not your church, your party is Thanksgiving church.
Okay.
This is not Thanksgiving church for your church. Like Rich Church did a banner for Nanado. Rich Church.
Maybe that's where he
No,
goes
Rich
to
Church did a banner for Nanado celebration because they came to do Thanksgiving in the church. No problem. So this day, it is Thanksgiving for Nanado because MPP. Now, Mama too goes to thank God. Party supporters have the right to be party supporters in the church, but the platform and the pulpit of the church cannot be used for any political party.
Great, great. Gloria, before you make your final submission, and I come to Mr. Kumado so that we wrap up, and I come to you, Reverend Luterodt. This one says, hello, I love what is going on there. The pastor said that now they have formed an association called Pastors and Politics. Did he actually say that?
Who said that?
He didn't say that, actually. I know the person is trying to be. This one says, please, let's not forget politics is like football, either a win or a lose or a draw. Because in football, when you draw, you go in for penalties. And in politics, when both parties get the below expected mark, you go for a runoff. And as I said, this councillor, Daniel in Achimota, the man in the red, gold, and green is very controversial, but he's making some great points we need to look out for.
The listener is controversial. We are making great points.
Daniel, this was as Mensa Benjamin from Pram Pram. Counselor, thank you very much, and God bless you. You always inspire me. I love watching you. Someone also has complimented you, actually. Okay, please, party leaders should advise their supporters, and it will help manage the problem. Because either a win or a lose, you should accept not to be hunted by failures in life, because it is part of human nature. This one is from Cosby. Gloria, finally, so that we
I just end on Cosby's note. The police should not be issuing statements. They should do their job. Their job is to arrest and prosecute. Anyone caught misbehaving should be arrested. No matter the party the person belongs to, that is what they are supposed to do. Don't issue statements. Go out there and arrest the people. Once you start arresting, I mean, you're a security person, they will stop misbehaving.
You know,
from the security point of view. I
didn't get worried until Dr. Kuseni said if we are not careful, the fighting, infighting, and will increase. Then I paused a little bit and I said, okay, we have to remember that whatever you do, there are implications. Yeah. And we should not, impunity has become the order of the day in this country. And people take the law into their own hands. We want to see our law enforcement agencies, in the midst of all these difficulties, to be a little bit more biting. And I think with that, let's behave as human beings, that we are rational people with common sense, like Luterodt would say. And let us not behave like animals because we have lost an election or we have won an election. If we are not careful, Becky, and this trend continue, you don't know what somebody will do tomorrow. And it could put it could destroy everything, because true meaningful development will take place in the absence of security threats and all those things. Investors will not come.
Okay.
Even the local ones will not invest their money. So in the absence of peace and security, forget about any meaningful development.
Right.
And I believe we can do better.
We can do better, so says Mr. Kumado. Reverend, what would you add to conclude?
Let's allow those who have won to celebrate. If you are close to an MPP person dancing to Mama Unapo, the best you can do is either do a remix in your head and dance. Or I hear people saying that change where you are when they are playing the music. Nobody can change where you are. You can decide not to listen to it. But remember, every win must be celebrated. Every loss must also be mourned. For me, Christmas is just at the corner. And I was just telling Becky that you need to enjoy yourself. So like me, every Christmas 26, I bring the show down for you to celebrate. So whether it's MPP and DC, it's over. Come and let's continue the money and the losing and the winning at my place. It's 26 December at a trade fair. And please get more details from me and as my brand so that you know. It's 0277. It's 609644. Don't insult Becky. Don't call the GBC people and fight them. Please, it is me who said it too. 0277 609644. Bring your questions to me and I will answer. Even you, the bloggers, I'm waiting for you. God bless you.
And God bless you too, Reverend. That is Reverend for you. Even this is not his usual element. You should understand. Let me wrap up quickly some few comments, then we go away. This as Counselor, I agree with you on the pastor's case. Too much sense in you, Counselor. More fire in the studio. This one is from Biggie in Kanda. In GBC. This one says, how can the pulpit be used for politics? It is for God. It shouldn't be used for politics. This one says, pastors are also human beings. They should be allowed to be political. Please tell Rev.George Luterodt. Okay, he's heard you. This one says, I'm disappointed in all the counselor said. Anyway, pow. That's what you had to say.
Thank you for watching.
This one says, I happily agree to Reverend, because politics should be put off from the church, because in the church we are united, but when you bring in politics, we are divided. I love the discussion. God bless all of you. Wonderful discussion and suggestions from all your panelists, especially Counselor. God bless Ghana. Mrs. Oma Nano. Okay, I can't take all. This one says, I'm loving the discussion. The panelists are on point, especially the man in the Ghana colors. I'm from Spain. Hey, Reverend, you've stolen the show. Why now?
Sorry, I'm coming. Sorry.
Okay, sorry you didn't get me. Pastor, this one is from Chire Ebusum. The messages are too many. The pulpit is no way for politicians. Ask them. They visit other gods and come to the church to pretend.
That's good.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Awuah. We have been discussing elections and experiences. And the second half, we switched over quickly to managing a win or a loss. If you lose, it doesn't mean you can't come back again.
Great.
Re-strategize. Yeah. Because in life, you either win or you will lose. But that is not the end of your life. Okay, let's meet again. Let's get more interactive on our Facebook page. I'll see you same time next week.